Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in development as we speak by George, Jon, and Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now has everything to do with, of course, what's going on between George, Jon, and Dave by combining Star Wars Legends with the new Disney canon. We already know that a lot of work is being done on the Ahsoka Tano series, a lot of sets are being built as we speak, a lot of training is actually happening along the way for Rosario Dawson to get back into the role of Ahsoka Tano since her last debut as the character in, of course, the Book of Boba Fett. Now, when you think about it this way, we already have a lot of TV shows being worked on simultaneously. Ewan McGregor made a prime example of how he actually went on set to borrow parts of the set of The Mandalorian when they had to do some shoots for the Kenobi TV series, and the Mandalorian crew was actually just looking at Ewan McGregor in the actual costume of Obi-Wan Kenobi in awe. So that's pretty much their strategy, is that sometimes, the production of these shows overlap, where you have the crew, for example, from The Mandalorian getting mixed with the crew of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, and it is a very interesting way of how they actually film these TV shows now. So on top of all of that, one thing that, of course, Jon Favreau has been very busy with is, of course, including a specific character in The Mandalorian Season 4 and exactly what's going on with actress Gina Carano. Now, it's been well over a year since she was actually let go and fired by Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, it's kind of crazy how time just flew by. It was February of last year when Gina Carano was fired, and here we are, it's March of 2022, as we are approaching the Kenobi TV series. However, with both Disney and Lucasfilm getting ready to begin filming the Ahsoka Tano TV series, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are preparing to also make some big announcements at Star Wars Celebration for new Star Wars TV shows and projects that will be added to the roadmap of the franchise. Now, further, it's noted, however, that recently Jon Favreau was involved in an interview where he was eventually questioned about actress Gina Carano for the Star Wars franchise. Now, Jon Favreau was questioned on the subject of rehiring Gina Carano, to where Jon Favreau went on to state, myself and Gina, we stay in touch and have remained very close. She played a very focused character in The Mandalorian that we are proud of, and how the character was seen by the fans. Certainly, it's something that I have been talking about with Gina every single week, and though I really can't give anything away to anybody about that, I think the fans are going to be very satisfied in the near future. That I can promise. We realize that fans out there love Cara Dune, they love Gina Carano, and we are doing some great things for that with The Mandalorian, or as I have noticed, fans like to call it the mandoverse, as he laughs. I don't know who came up with that, but I love it. Gina is such a kind soul, and I actually have known her before The Mandalorian, and we wrote her character based on her actual appearance. Now, let me just stop right there for 1 second of what Jon Favreau said, so you can see how he's really steering away from the question. He doesn't really want to say anything directly to the fans about the rehiring of Gina Carano, even though it is happening behind the scenes. There is a lot of work being done. He just teased it right there, that fans are going to be very satisfied when it comes to aspects with Gina Carano and Cara Dune as a character. Now, when you think about it also in the light of, what Disney did with James Gunn, alright? They actually rehired him, and that to me was a far worse situation if you guys had to ask me. That was more around the lines of where James Gunn was 110% in the wrong, at least in my opinion. That's just my opinion, guys. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. But I think that James Gunn should have not have been rehired. That's just my opinion. But when you look at everything related to Jon and Dave Filoni, they are really trying to bring Star Wars back to its roots, back to the vision of George Lucas, back to what Star Wars really feels like for the fans, and that's what they really have to focus on, and that's exactly what they are going to focus on. They have to make sure that they have a successful lineup of Star Wars TV series that's going to be consistently very much good. Now, one thing, of course, he goes on to say is that one thing I can say is that Gina and I, as well as Dave, have stayed in touch and will remain for as long as we can. Separate from what Favreau said, this all alludes to the fact that Gina is going to be a part of the 4th season of Mando that is described to end the series before Jon and Dave branch to a new TV show that will continue the story of Din Djarin. Mando Season 4 is set to use Cara Dune to have scenes with characters such as Ahsoka Tano, Luke Skywalker, and yes, even Sabine Wren in the series that will be used. So once again, Mando Season 4, it really looks like it's going for that ensemble cast, and how they're really trying to create a Avengers type of feel to it. Now, I'm not quite sure how some fans are going to react to that. Obviously, some fans are going to have their different opinions on the Avengers style, where you have a large group of heroes that eventually split up into multiple groups and go on about their ways. And that's exactly what Jon and Dave are trying to do, not just with Mando Season 4, but also with the Ahsoka Tano series. That's really going to be a big deal. So that's one thing to really be aware of, is the fact that they are trying to push that ensemble cast. Now, further from all of that, Jon and Dave Filoni have already storyboarded Gina Carano's Cara Dune for the 4th season of the show, and that she is going to be getting a brand new look and design in the series than in the past 2 seasons that she was a part of. Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, is also the one who allowed Favreau and Filoni to move forward with these plans, and Kathleen Kennedy is said to be extremely frustrated about his decision on all of this. Now, further, Cara Dune's return in The Mandalorian Season 4 is also set to have the most amount of screen time than before, even more than both Season 1 and 2 combined. Now, this, of course, was a decision made by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni in order to truly expand the character to the greatest level. Now, additionally, Favreau and Filoni are also prepared to make a big announcement about Cara Dune sometime by this fall that has to do with her involvement in the 4th season. It's something that Disney board members, of course, are trying to figure out on how they can announce this properly to the entire fandom around the world. So that's the big deal right now. What's happening with the Mandalorian series is exactly how they can really balance everything out like this. And when it all dwindles down to Gina Carano's Cara Dune, alright, this is a character that a lot of young women were very much enjoying, and a lot of women actually canceled their Disney Plus subscription after Kathleen Kennedy got rid of Cara Dune, got rid of Gina Carano, and let alone made the call to Disney board members to take the merchandise off store shelves. Big mistake, honestly, because you can see how it really caused quite a bit of a backlash back then. I would say it was stretched all the way from February to June of 2021. That was really the whole period where Gina Carano and her firing was really a big deal and an ongoing conversation. And when you look at it in that light, Lucasfilm really needs to shape up, and that's exactly what Jon and Dave are trying to do. They're really trying to shape up the company, not just on a creative level, but also on a business level. I know that, of course, they recently got promotions over at Lucasfilm to make more creative calls on a lot of the projects that they're not even writing and or directing, which is great because that means everything's going to be very consistent. But it's also the fact that they are really trying to keep this company together and really making it the best possible scenario for themselves. Which, of course, is just reuniting the fandom, making Star Wars as satisfying and happy as possible for the fandom as well. And that's all they really need. They have to make sure that the fans are going to be very happy and satisfied. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.